listening to Earth Oddity, a weekly odyssey into all the oddity planet Earth has to offer. And now, serving it up are Christopher Tiny Sullivan and John Long.
John, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fairly good. I have a date on Lamar Chambers in England. That story has finally been dealt with. What do you got?
I've got our friend Noah, the time traveler, has met himself.
He's back.
So yeah, he's back in it. And
spoiler alert: it wasn't me after all.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
But we are going to start with this hilarious story about The Bachelor. John, do you watch The Bachelor?
I don't, but I know someone who does. I don't think she's been as involved with watching it this year, but she probably has more knowledge than you and I do combined.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess we can welcome her in now.
Our first ever guest
inaugural,
to the Earth Oddity podcast.
Yes, inaugural guest, Miss Deidre Long, is here to comment on The Bachelor. Reluctantly comment. She doesn't want to be on the show. We have basically coerced and forced her to be on the show. Yeah. Round of applause.
Ms. Deidre
Hello.
Long, how are you doing?
Good.
See?
So
it's not so bad. Yeah, not so bad.
I do not watch The Bachelor, and my wife has watched it on occasion. She didn't watch this season, and if I'm not mistaken, you didn't watch much of it either, but you did watch like the important part. Like
I did.
The few episodes.
I did at the end.
How many? The final two episodes?
The final two episodes.
So,
okay.
I wasn't very interested in Arie, so I skipped it this season.
Okay, and that is how you say his name, Arie
Luyendyk.
Arie Luyendyk. Okay.
Why weren't you? Was he just not hot enough for you?
Just wasn't interested.
Okay, so he wasn't hot enough for you.
Maybe.
All right.
We may be jumping ahead, but apparently he's kind of a jerk.
Is
so
he? Yeah.
we're going to get to that.
I have no clue. I did say on the way over here that it sounded like a race car driver's name, and he's a race car driver.
I think
right?
so.
Okay. So, if I'm understanding this correctly, we had a story earlier in the episode about Becca Martinez, who was on the show, and she was missing.
Right. Yeah.
She got California, but it turned out she wasn't missing. She was on the show.
Bachelor. Yeah, her mama reported her missing.
Yeah. So I actually thought this was the same Becca, but this is Becca Kufrin. How do you say her name?
Cuffrin.
Becca Cuffrin, and she was was she the final?
One of the final two.
She was one of the final two.
Well, and then she was the final one.
Okay, she was the final one, but then she wasn't. Here comes here comes the controversy. The headline here is Bachelor Uproar Prompts Minnesota Bill Banning Arie Luyendyk Jr. from the state. It says here, well, Arie Luyendyk Jr. has not only drawn the ire of Bachelor Nation, but also the state of Minnesota's. After Luyendyk proposed to and broke off his engagement with Minnesota native Becca Cuffrin during Monday's finale of The Bachelor, Representative Drew Christensen made good on a promise to draft a bill banning Luyendyk from the state, which I didn't know you could do that.
That's serious business.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine a state government could ban someone.
The representative drafted the bill and will be introducing it, but he won't be pushing for it, which I feel like a lot of our representatives, they introduce stuff, but they're just grandstanding.
Yeah, right.
This is just more of the same.
It's getting close to election season anyway, so he's trying to capture the Bachelor vote.
It says here, the entire situation has been done tongue-in-cheek and about supporting the hometown girl. We Minnesotans... Could you say that for me, Ms. Deidre?
Oh, Minnesotians?
Minnesotans?
Well, whoever they are, they stick together. It's been a great civic experiment on how easy it is to get in touch with your elected officials and showing them that, yes, we can have a sense of humor, the Republican lawmaker said in a statement to the Times on Thursday. The bill won't be receiving any hearings, and it will not become law, Christensen said. Cuffrin hails from Christensen's prior Lakes district, and the lawmaker capitalized on the opportunity to rally local fans on social media in a civil experiment after what began as a way to engage with constituents and swiftly escalated into a bona fide publicity blitz. Christensen promised to author a bill banning Luyendyk from the state if a tweet that he tweeted out got a meager 1,000 retweets. So
I didn't set the bar too high.
Which now I don't think I could get 1,000 retweets if I tweeted something.
Well, what do we have?
I'm not a state representative either.
Yeah, we have like maybe 4 followers on Twitter anyway, so it'd be.
No, we got 6.
6. Okay, all right. Yeah, we've upped it. Yeah. All right. I feel like
one of those is me, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm following the show's Twitter.
Sure, and your brother,
and I'm doing the show's Twitter too.
Right.
So.
And you know,
I'm not on Twitter. So
Deidre's not on
sorry.
Twitter, but maybe she has some friends that are on Twitter.
Well, anyway,
and when she tells them to listen because she's on this week,
yeah,
then maybe they'll follow
or maybe
us.
not.
Sure.
Okay.
So, he also he said that he would invite Cuffrin like the state address if he got 10,000 retweets,
Okay.
and he got that too. It says that he tweeted out the bill, also the invitation. It says the state of Minnesota hereby adopts a policy of zero tolerance of Arie Luyendyk Jr. from season 22 of The Bachelor, the document said. It is state policy that every person in the state has a right to live free from the presence of Arie Luyendyk Jr. in the state. Christensen said he isn't a huge Bachelor fan, but he has kept tabs on the latest season because of its local connection. This right here actually kind of bummed me out. He said, as for the bill's chances of passing, Christensen said that they are 0%. In fact, he wasn't even going to vote for it.
Wow.
So what are you doing, dude? You're not doing your job.
Wasted the taxpayers' money. But really, Deidre, now
let's get into it. Why do we hate this guy so much?
So what happened? He had 2 girls left at the end, Lauren and Becca.
Mm-hmm.
He proposed to Becca, broke up with Lauren. And
Right.
then in the weeks to follow, brought a camera crew in
Mm-hmm.
and decided to break up with her with the camera crew in tow. Took her ring back, I don't know.
Yeah.
And
You gotta
then
get that ring back.
went back to Lauren and begged for her back, got her back, and then on television proposed to her.
I mean, and just a FYI, if you and I ever break up, I'm getting the ring back too. I mean, I think that's standard.
Well,
right? That's a loan.
I think-
I've loaned it to you.
I think Neil Lane probably got that ring back, so they get him for free, I'm sure, on The Bachelor.
Neil Lane's like the jeweler.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
FYI, just sometime when John's busy, you go to the jeweler and you swap out the diamond for a Cupid zirconia.
Easy, Tiny. I thought we were doing the show together, right? But so he busted up with his girl.
Went back to the runner-up,
Right.
who took him back, by the way,
Of course.
and proposed to her.
So
It sounds kind of like a publicity stunt.
I think the
set
fact
up.
that he brought a camera crew in to break up with her so it could be on television, that probably was the biggest mistake.
Well, I mean, what was the advantage to the Lauren is who he went back to?
Mm-hmm.
Why was she better than the other one?
I don't know.
In your limited viewing.
I didn't watch the season,
She's
so
just
I
fine?
don't know.
She's just better looking?
I don't know.
You don't know if she's better looking?
She's a blonde, the other's a brunette.
Okay, well, there you go.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. That pretty much
Hudson, let's
explains
get you over here.
Yes. Okay, give me my headphones.
it. You don't have to holler. This is a microphone.
All right.
Hudson, let me ask you a question. Because neither me or Johnny the one watched. Which one was the hottest?
Yeah, did you watch any of it with Mom? It's okay, it'll pick you up.
I didn't even watch the season, so
So blonde or brunette?
So, yeah.
I don't know.
Do you like girls with blonde hair or dark hair?
I can go for both.
Yeah, that's my boy. That's what I'm talking about. There you go.
Can we cut that out?
No.
Absolutely
No, we
not.
can't. Let me ask you this. Do you like any girls you go to school with?
Not really, no.
For real? He's got 2 girls. They're just friends, right?
Okay, no names. We're not going to embarrass you on the podcast.
Yeah, and they probably would beat me up for that, so.
Beat you up? Come on.
I'm not very strong. Have you looked at my arms? I mean.
Oh, they don't look that bad for a little kid.
Nah, you're good. You're pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
You fight your older brother, don't you?
Lose, but.
But you fight back, though, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's not the size of the fight. It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the
But
size of the fight in
yeah.
the dog.
There you go.
Okay. Well,
this has been an interesting.
this has been a very enlightening conversation.
Yes.
So basically, Arie Luyendyk is just a jerk
Yeah.
who purposefully broke this girl's heart for
Publicity's sake. But do you think The
ratings.
Bachelor was behind it to promo like the fact that this Becca girl is going to be the new Bachelorette?
Oh, yeah, and I forgot to
'cause you were
mention
telling me
that.
that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so the one he broke off the engagement to is now the new Bachelorette.
So she built up all these people who love
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
See,
this is all.
was this all just made for TV?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Some of them have really gotten married over the
Yeah, I was just
seasons.
fixing to say,
Had babies.
I mean, there's been 22 seasons. How many successful marriages has this resulted in?
I think there's only one couple that are married that actually got engaged on the show.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's others that are engaged and others that married other people maybe from the franchise, but I think there's only one couple that actually married that got engaged on the show.
Huh.
And they're expecting their second baby, so.
Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, we're all for marriage. Yeah.
I know too much about this.
You do? Who are the ones that are married?
Sean and Catherine.
Was that
Sean
the
and
fireman
Catherine.
guy?
No, I don't think he was a fireman.
Oh, I thought there was like a fireman guy.
Maybe. I don't really know what he does.
Oh, I don't know.
Now they just promote stuff on Instagram and probably get paid for it.
Yeah. That's the level we're trying to get to with this podcast.
Yeah. You know what they need to bring back? They need to bring back Joe Millionaire.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Do you remember that show?
Yes, I do.
All right, yes.
That was a great show.
That was a great show.
In fact, I know the perfect first Joe Millionaire. One, Mr. Bradley Dean Sullivan.
Oh, yeah. Yes, he would be,
He would be
perfect for it. Yes.
Well, this has been very enlightening. I would like
Yes.
to extend the most gracious of thank yous I can possibly give to both Hudson and Ms. Deidre Long. Thank you for filling us in.
Look, I feel like Hudson has something else he's just got to say.
What you got to
And
say?
so,
I just want to be on the rest of the podcast, please.
the rest of the podcast.
I'll tell you what, we'll talk to our people. Our people will get in touch
Yeah.
with your agent, and we'll work out the
We'll have to
details.
book you for a session. Okay. All right. My entire family's in here, and
We're all leaving now.
they're all leaving. Hudson's got to get his headphones back so he can watch his phone.
Nah, I just want them.
Just one.
Just want them.
Okay.
Well,
Thanks,
thank y'all
guys.
so much.
Thanks, Deidre.
Welcome.
Let's give them a round of applause. Wow. That
Well.
was a...
Bizarre.
That was a great segment. That was a great segment.
Deidre was so nervous about being on, and I was like, it's no big deal. You know?
Dude, she sounds intelligent.
Right.
She has a wonderful sounding voice.
She does. She
I
does
bet
make
she-
us sound a lot better.
No.
You know?
You might want to be careful. She's probably going to have some internet crushes out there after this. So
Maybe
she's married, guys.
Yeah, she's married to a stud, by the way. The dude is good looking. All right.
You have no chance.
Yeah, no chance at all. He's successful. He's never ran a business in the ground, and he's got it all together. So just saying, you better watch out if you're gonna be coming for her. But yeah, she was very, very nervous, and I was like, look, we have maybe 50 people who listen to this on a regular basis.
Yeah,
so, and we're
sometimes
related,
a little more, sometimes a little less.
We're related to most of them, so you don't have anything to be scared about. And I'm glad we finally just peer pressured her into doing it. You know, so she's our Bachelor expert, which I don't know why she watches romance on TV when she has it at home whenever she wants it, but she does. So. I mean, I'm there, and I'll give her a rose, you know. That's all I'm saying. Okay, moving along to the next story here, which I really enjoy, is pastor fakes his own kidnapping and demands 3 Bitcoin ransom from family. An evangelical pastor from São José dos Campos, Brazil, and you have to forgive me, my Spanish is not the best.
Right.
Because I took French in high school. What better language to learn in rural West Alabama?
I was about to say, it makes perfect
French,
sense to
yes.
take French when you're living in Alabama.
Yeah, exactly.
With a quite large,
French
Latino population.
Exactly. Anyways, this guy, Alexandre Geraldo dos Anjos, who's 34 years old, is an evangelical pastor of the Assembleia de Deus Missio, which is the Assembly of God Mission, so it's Pentecostal.
Right.
From San Jose dos Campos, Brazil, was overcome by greed last week, and he let himself fall into sin and stray from God's mission.
Whoops.
Yeah. He went missing on Monday, and he was last seen hanging out with another pastor in the Vista Verde neighborhood, which is the eastern part of town for those familiar with San Jose dos Campos in Brazil. And when one of Dos Anjos' friends contacted his family to let them know that he had been abducted and that the kidnappers were asking for 3 Bitcoins for his safe release.
Which that's sizable.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what the conversion rate, I don't remember, let's see, which is about 106,000 in Brazilian real. But anyways, his family refused to pay the ransom and called the police.
Probably because they didn't know how to pay the ransom in Bitcoin.
Yes. But I feel like we all got a friend that's really super into Bitcoin.
I mean, I love my wife, and I would probably pay about anything I have to get her back. But if someone was wanting Bitcoin, I'd be like, okay, well, you're going to send me detailed instructions.
Yes. How do I need to do that? I don't know. I'm working off of a mobile phone here. I don't even have a desktop computer. At first, he unconvincingly claimed that he escaped from captivity. But however, when the police turned him over to the investigations office there, the fallen pastor caved under pressure and confessed to staging his own abduction. And here's a statement from the police here. We received a complaint yesterday stating that the pastor had had lunch at a restaurant in Jakari. We went there to investigate. We took the video surveillance footage and saw that he appeared calm. When he began to tell his story of the kidnapping, it became obvious he was lying. Dos Anjos bought a SIM card and texted one of his friends, making it look like he was a kidnapper asking for ransom. So he put some thought into this.
Right.
His friend was unaware of the plot, the one that called the family. So he was released.
If I got a text with a ransom note, like a ransom note text message, I would my first thought would be like, okay, well, that wasn't for me. Somebody texted the wrong number. Yes. Or someone's pulling a joke, you know.
But now I know to not text you if I ever get kidnapped. You'd be like, because
the kidnapper would be looking at his phone and he'd get back, LOL, wrong, a new phone, who dis?
But my thing is that his family was just like, no, we're not paying for it. You know? Like, well,
yeah.
So he's released under judicial control for now, but he faces criminal charge and likely a fresh round of questioning from his wife and mother of his 2-year-old son. But apparently the old Assembly of God mission down there wasn't pulling in the old 10% tithe like they needed to. And this guy was like, I got to get, I need a Creflo Dollar plane, and I need to do something now. I need to get on Olstein's level. And here I am at the Assembly of God, and we can't even make budget this week. So
he should have texted back and been like, okay, well, how about Dogecoin? Can I get it in Dogecoin? There's like hundreds of cryptocurrencies.
Yes, I mean, there's a million of them.
We need to research an Earth Oddity, an Oddcoin.
Made one.
We need to make our own called
That's not
Oddcoin.
a bad idea.
Yeah. And then, since we're the ones making it up, we can give it out as a reward for iTunes reviews. And
let's just start telling people we are. It's not even created. You won 5 Oddcoins. New cryptocurrency.
Get in on the ground floor.
Get in on the ground floor now.
Oddcoin. If anybody out there in the listening audience knows how to do this, get in touch, because that would be great.
I don't know anything about making it, but years ago when I first heard about Bitcoin, on a website it's a discussion board, a guy was like all in for it, and he was like, man, this is going to be the thing of the future. And here's a program you can install on your computer that will mine these coins.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, whatever. And I put it on there. And so I don't remember what I got. It wasn't a lot. I don't even think I got a full coin.
Right.
And so I just ended up transferring to somebody else. I was like, this is stupid.
Oh, man, I bet you wish you had it.
Deleted the program and everything.
Yeah.
And that guy quit posted on that board about 2 years ago because apparently he hit it big.
Right.
And here I am, old John, broke as I always have been.
If you had made a Bitcoin and you had that now, you would have like close probably $1,000.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so I was just like, well, God doesn't want me to be rich anyways, and so that's fine. I don't need to be rich. I've never been rich my whole life, but I've become convinced that God wants me to suffer in poverty, like many of His children do.
Right, yeah,
and that's fine. And really, I'm kidding. I'm not in poverty, but I'm not rich, so.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah, not even a little. No one looks at me and goes, "That guy's rich." But there are people who look at me.
We're not even rich in Facebook likes.
No, yeah, right.
Speaking of which, you can like our Earth Oddity podcast page. It costs you 0 coin to go like it.
Nothing. If you like our Facebook page, we will reward you with one odd coin.
Yeah, absolutely.
And future value on that is unknown. It may be billions of dollars. So.
My sister-in-law, she passed her real estate test. She's getting into real estate.
Yeah.
And she created her a Facebook page for her, real estate page. Mm-hmm. And the next day she had 150 likes, and we have 45. Come on, what gives?
Yeah, really.
Come on, y'all.
I mean, I'm Facebook friends with like 1,100 and something people.
Yeah. I
get interaction with a lot. I posted a picture this week, like 160 people liked it. You know? And, but none of those people will like our thing, and sometimes that hurts my confidence late at night when I'm just sitting up. I'm just like, oh, I'm not good enough for you people. It makes me a little mad. Well, whatever. We want the people who are into us.
That's true. We know we've got
all you
a very few dozen people who listen every
dedicated
week, and we are the ones. You're the reason we're doing this.
Yeah, we love you.
We would rather make this show good for the people who do care about it than get up here and do a song and dance and try to reach people who don't care at all.
I mean, really, we want to make a lot of money, eventually. So.
Well, we want to make back what we've invested in hosting.
Yes. So, we just want to look at a break even here.
Yeah.
But
if you want to make it big in odd coin,
get in on the ground
Facebook
floor.
Likes.
That's right. Get in on the ground floor now.
All right, enough of that. Next story, we have another follow-up story. We had a lot of follow-up stories this week.
Yes, we do.
I've been looking forward to getting into this one. I don't know about you. I've been following this story.
Oh, yeah.
Every week I check on it like 2 or 3 times.
Well, there was a very lengthy group text message between you and Arie. I didn't participate a lot. She was like, so I have to work during the day,
Yeah.
Which, one other thing, people text me a lot during the day, and I don't always answer because I'm dealing with the public. Our friend Casey Dunaway, who we've spoken of, James Elmore's biggest fan, calls me during the day all the time at work. And Casey, I know you're listening. I love you, but I want your job where I can just call people during the middle of a work day, But he works for the phone company, so maybe they encourage that.
Maybe.
But I don't know. He just calls during the middle of the day, and I'm working. I can't answer all the time. So, and then I call him back and leave a message, and I won't hear from him. So, I don't know.
Well, you can talk to him, but it's got to be on his time.
That's right, yes. And I don't feel like he's probably not calling about anything too important.
You're right. He's probably... Hey, John, it's Casey.
Hey, what's up, it's Casey, man? When y'all gonna get James on the show? He'd be real interested.
Most of our conversations are when you gonna get James on the show.
That's right. In which we had James lined up, and it didn't work out this week. So.
Well, he's too busy.
Yeah, the man. He's single. He's not married. He doesn't have any kids, but his schedule's too jam packed to fit in a Sunday afternoon podcast session for an hour.
Anyway, next story. Poo Watch. Hashtag Poo Watch. Yes. It has come to an end.
Or, that may be a big sigh of relief if you could play that in backwards.
Although, he kind of won.
Yeah, I think so.
I kind of had this one pegged.
I would chalk this up as a win if I was him.
Yes. Headline, and this is from the metro.co.uk. Police finally released drug suspect who refused to take a poo for 47 days.
Ooh.
He went 47 days.
That's impressive.
A suspected drug dealer who continually refused to take a poo for 47 days has finally been released by police so he can go to a hospital.
Okay.
It's been nearly 8 weeks since Lamar Chambers, 24, was arrested in Harlow, Essex on January 17th.
Wow.
Essex police believed he had swallowed some of the drugs before his arrest and repeatedly told metro.co.uk that they were waiting for him to do what he needs to do.
Yeah.
But as days turned into weeks, it became clear that Mr. Chambers' situation was becoming increasingly damaging to his health. Because he wasn't eating either,
Yeah, it was like hunger strike too.
Yeah, because
hunger and poo
you can't
strike.
Eat and refuse to go to the potty. Something's got to give. This is what's the old saying? That, what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? Something's got to give.
Very true. Very true.
After 38 days in police custody, his lawyer told Chelmsford Magistrates Court that he would, quote, rather die than go to the toilet.
That's a big.
Officers asked the court for an extension to keep Mr. Chambers in custody on 7 separate occasions.
Wow.
They had to go to court seven times and say,
We're waiting for him to poop.
We still ain't got.
We
still don't have anything.
The judge who hears that case,
Which I mean, I don't know how the law is, in England, but here in America, couldn't you get like a writ of habeas corpus or something? Like you got to charge him. Yeah, you can't just hold him. You have to charge him with something.
Right? Yes.
I saw that on an episode of Matlock one time.
No, of course, that's where I get all my. I mean, growing up with my granny, that's what we watch. But was the judge's name? Did it happen to be Judge Pooty? That was an easy one. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Instead of Judge Judy,
that's hilarious. The hope that he would finally pass drugs proved vain, and on Monday, officers finally released him from custody so he could be taken to hospital. The Crown Prosecution Service discontinued the charges against Mr. Chambers in relation to possession with intent to supply Class A drugs. However, as soon as those charges were dropped, he was rearrested on a lesser charge, and then he was released on bail. So, they're not going to totally let him go. But instead of,
you're not going to show up law enforcement, Right. I mean, it's just not happening. They wrote a song about it in the 50s, like I fought the law and the law won.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, there's no winning.
Although I will say, like, I don't know what he was arrested on, but I would imagine it's probably, a lesser charge than intent to supply Class A drugs.
Yeah, I would sort of think so too.
Yeah. So then he was taken in a police car to hospital for treatment. Deputy Chief Constable B.J. Harrington said Chambers' case was highly unusual. I would say so.
Yeah.
On the basis of all the medical evidence in this case, it is most appropriate, both in the interest of Mr. Chambers and of justice, to ensure that he receives the hospital treatment he needs. Where detainees are suspected of ingesting or concealing drugs inside their body, we must balance overseeing their welfare and ensuring that all evidence is captured to ensure the best possible chance of prosecution.
Well.
So,
I hope they got a plunger ready over at the old hospital.
I don't know what they're going to do over at the hospital, but
a bedpan.
I say he won.
Yeah,
I say he won.
Yes, no, you're right. And I really hate that Deidre left because she doesn't like our poo coverage. Right. I wish she could have been here for this, but yeah,
Well, that's a big one. He's now like a Guinness World Record holder.
Right. I mean, he really
beat the charges.
Yeah, he came out gangbusters out of this thing. He's like.
Now, I don't know what kind of lasting damage this will do to his body.
Who knows?
But at least as far as the law is concerned, I got to say, I think he's ahead.
Yeah. Well, he's probably going to tear up a cheeseburger or two and get back on into life like. Back to trafficking drugs or whatever he's doing beforehand. Yeah. He's like, I know if they catch me, I'll just swallow it and I'll wait 47 more days.
It is hilarious because, it was the police department that turned this into a big joke with the Twitter hashtag and all this.
Because they're all like, we're going to get it.
They're like, ha, we're going to get you. But I got to say, I think he laughs last.
Yes. If that dude doesn't start his own Twitter right now and just give them the Dickens every day, I would. I'd be like, hey, y'all remember that time y'all said y'all were going to make me poop and I didn't, and then I got out and y'all had to reduce my charges or something. Yeah, I just wanted to remind y'all that. I do it every day.
It's like it was funny at first, but then the humor faded.
That's right. Like the dude that's in charge of the Twitter account, people are like, man, why? Why did you start this?
I think it's around day 22. They were like, we're just going to release information when we get some more.
Away.
But then, because it'd blown up, everyone kept asking. So they had to keep on saying stuff, Well,
I mean, you live by the poo, you die by the poo.
You reap what you sow.
That's exactly right. But I mean, Lamar, if you happen to download our podcast, I'm proud of you, man.
We'd like to have you on the show.
Yeah, I'm not an advocate for trafficking or distributing drugs or in any way.
But you've earned your freedom, sir.
But your will and determination is something I feel like we could all,
it's an inspiration to drug traffickers everywhere.
Yes, right. You've set the bar pretty high. And, if I ever have to swallow some drugs, I'm going to try that too. Yeah. But I doubt I'll ever have to swallow any drugs, but
at least none that aren't prescribed to you.
Yeah. If I make like a few wrong decisions in life and everything goes downhill and somehow I'm trafficking heroin or something, then I might try that if I'm in trouble.
Quick PSA to everyone out there who uses drugs.
Yeah.
This is where they're coming from.
That's right.
So you just might want to think twice.
I mean, I'm sure we have a pretty devoted drug head audience as we try to do clean humor here. All right, I got another update here. This is our friend Noah Novak, who, if you remember from a few episodes back, was a time traveler.
Yeah, this is Noah from 2030,
yes.
if I'm not mistaken.
The time traveler from 2030 claims to have met himself from 40 years in the future. So, yes. Noah Novak claims to be from the year 2030 and said the man sitting next to him, as you'll see pictured if you check out the show notes, is actually himself from the year 2070. All right?
Wow. So we've met the Noah from 2030, but now the Noah from 2070 has come back too. And there they are talking to each other.
40 years, he put on a good 180 pounds.
He's also shrunk a couple inches.
Yeah, right. I really feel like Noah here is just pulling all our leg. I want it to be true, but I just feel like. Anyways, a time traveler from the year 2030 claims he's met himself from 40 years in the future, and the two versions of the one man gave a video interview together. All right.
Right.
In the strange video, Noah claims some of the information that proves they are the same person is classified to make sure that the government doesn't get him. Because, of course, the government's trying to get him. And so he can't go into explicit detail, he said, and his future self from the year 2070 could reveal details of their lives as proof that they are the same person. Which I feel like...
It's not as convincing as a DNA test.
Or a simple fingerprint.
Right.
I mean, I could solve this really easily. He says, I believe that he is me from the future, Noah from 2030 said in a video interview with Apex TV. And although the people look and sound very dissimilar, 40 years is a long time over which to change your appearance, height, personality, and voice, Noah might say.
Well, he said that he was 50. Yeah. So this 2070 version of Noah's got to be pushing 100, right?
Yeah, I can't. That's math is, which I feel like 2070 Noah, you would go, I don't want to create a paradox and come back and meet myself.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's a Back to the Future movie about this in some way. But time traveler from 2030 makes startling predictions about the future U.S. presidents and says Trump's successor does something bad. So this is when he was saying everyone that Trump was going to be reelected, and then the guy behind him that comes after Trump's going to do something.
That's the really bad guy.
Yeah, that's the real bad guy. Which, for most of our audience, that probably means Obama's getting elected again.
Oh, gosh. Here we go.
I'm kidding. I don't want to get anything stirred up with our people who love Obama. I'm not an Obama hater. That was just a joke, okay? He said that everything that I did and this type of stuff, and this is the type of stuff that someone would have to stalk me for my whole life to figure out. So Noah from the future is either stalking Noah. Noah from 2070 was either stalking Noah from 2030 to figure all this stuff out. And as Noah from 2030 says, it's obvious that he is, obviously it'd be really hard for him to figure out all this information. So as you can see, they're different height, they sound different, and they have very different mannerisms and personalities. I mean, Noah from 2070 has shrunk at least 4 inches. And his waistline has expanded from probably a 30 to, I would say, a 42, if not bigger. I don't know. Yeah. I mean,
give him a break, dude. He's pushing 100.
Yeah. Noah from 2070 has been putting down the cheeseburgers. And apparently likes flannel. Flannel's big in the future.
Or maybe he comes back and he's wearing it because it's retro.
Yeah, maybe that's it. He's like really into grunge music, you know? He like loves Nirvana and Pearl Jam. But anyways, I feel like Noah is full of poo watch, if to put it lightly. Yeah. You know, he is just trying to pull everybody's leg here and get page clicks for Apex TV or whatever, you know, the alien channel. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of like Fox Mulder on this one. I want to believe.
Yeah,
but
I do too.
I'm not convinced.
I want to believe time travel is possible, but Noah's not convincing
I would get jazzed up if 2070 Noah just reached over and unlocked dude's iPhone.
Yeah. There you go. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like, they're talking about all this, so he knows this information. I mean, like, let's just get an ink pad and a piece of paper and compare. I have fingerprinting merit badge. I could do it. I volunteer right now to come do this. And I will compare y'all's fingerprints.
But you got to go check out the pictures, because really it could be... Yeah. John here could be Noah 2030, and then I could be Noah 2070.
I mean, it's that different. It is that different. Like, there's no way. And they look different. They sound different. Now their mannerisms are different.
Even as hoaxers, they could have done a better. They could have come on. Y'all could have done better. I could have done a better time travel hoax than this.
So disappointed. But maybe it's like an elaborate joke or something that we don't know, and they're all sitting there laughing together.
Well, the next headline, and man, this is a bizarre story.
It is.
Nun fighting the sale of a convent to Katy Perry dies in court. This is a bizarre story. Okay, this comes from Reuters. An 89-year-old Roman Catholic nun who has battled pop star Katy Perry for years over the sale of a Los Angeles convent collapsed and died during a court appearance, according to media reports and supporters. Yeah. Sister Catherine Rose Halsman, one of two aging nuns who were fighting the sale of the 8-acre convent, died on Friday during related legal proceedings in Los Angeles County Court, Fox affiliate KTTV reported. Okay, this is her. This is as she was going into court. She, quote, said, "To Katy Perry, please stop. It's not doing anyone any good except hurting a lot of people," Halsman had earlier told KTTV as she entered the courthouse with Sister Rita Callanan. On Saturday, a website set up to back the nun's legal battle carried a picture of Halsman with the caption, "Rest with the angels, our most precious treasure." A spokeswoman for Perry, one of the world's top-selling pop stars, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner said that the Archdiocese of Los Angeles did not respond to queries about the cause of her death, which, I mean, she was 89.
Yeah.
So
but
I'm not really suspecting a whole lot of foul play here.
I mean, I don't know.
It's just, it is interesting, though, how it happened.
Yeah, I mean, she's 89. The Lord probably just called her home.
Probably.
Yeah. A lot of stress fighting a legal case, too. So.
But I don't know, it's fixing to get a little bit weirder, though. Okay. At the center of the legal dispute is the property that Halsman and other members of the Sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Maryland...
They got great names. Our Catholic brothers and sisters have great names for stuff, though. The Sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Man, that carries some weight behind it.
Halsman and Callanan, among 5 nuns who had lived at the convent, had sought to sell the property for $15.5 million to restaurateur Dana Hollister, who wanted to convert the property into a hotel. Now, the Archdiocese of Los Angeles sued to block the sale in 2015, arguing that the nuns did not have the authority to sell the property to Hollister. So it sounds like the sisters were selling off the convent, and then the Archdiocese is like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's our property.
That's ours.
Yeah, y'all can't be selling our stuff.
Which I don't know exactly how Catholicism and how the legal system is, but I thought that, the Archdiocese I think they would own it.
Yeah, they would own all the property. Yeah. It's not like us, like we, if our church sinks, the Southern Baptist, we're like,
So I'm not exactly sure how that works out, but... the Archdiocese, they sued to block the sale and to get it back, saying, hey, we're the ones going to sell it.
Yeah, right.
Okay, a judge ruled in 2016 that the sale was invalid and then paved the way for Perry to buy the site from the Archdiocese. So the Catholic Church, nuns want to sell this to property developer Dana Hollister for $15.5 million.
Yeah.
Archdiocese of Los Angeles wants to sell this property to Katy Perry and I did some digging on this. Guess what Ms. Perry's bid is for the property? $14.5 million.
Oh, so
they want to sell the property for $1 million less to Katy Perry, rather than sell it to this Dana Hollister lady for $1 million more, who also plans to keep the property open to the public and turn it into like a boutique, hotel.
Yeah, right. What's Katy gonna do? Just like move in?
Well, I don't know, but I'm starting to wonder. Maybe there is a bit of conspiracy here because isn't Katy Perry? Isn't she part of the New World Order?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think she's like a good Catholic girl.
You don't think so?
I mean, it's based on what I've seen.
You don't think that California girl is devout in her faith?
No, she's done a few songs that are diametrically opposed to the Catholic, leanings,
So I don't want to cast suspicions where they're not due, but I do find it interesting that the Catholic Church wants to sell. First of all, they want to sell the property to Katy Perry, and they want to lose $1 million on the sale, rather than keep it open to the public.
I mean, the nuns weren't going to keep the money for themselves, right? They were probably...
I don't know. Well, I would assume not, because technically you're not supposed to own anything, are you?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think if you're a priest, technically everything you have is supposed to belong to the church.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
So were they just going to turn around and give all that money to like the poor? They got a huge homeless
Well, there was
problem
another article I had read where one of the sisters had said, look, the archdiocese, they're going to get their money eventually.
Yeah.
After
we go to bingo night, or whatever, I don't know. I gotta go to the racetrack a few times.
But I feel like the Catholic Church is like, no, we got to sell the property to Katy Perry so she can do her New Age rituals there.
Well, I'll just say this, and this is nothing against anybody who is Catholic and listens to this show, because I love y'all guys, but I mean, y'all didn't get to be as rich as you are, like your church, by making poor real estate deals. So something's up, it seems. They got a lot of money. They're loaded. The Catholic Church.
Oh yeah,
do a lot of good with it. I mean,
they do.
Yeah, I'm not just. They ain't sitting on
a lot of hospitals.
Yeah, hospitals.
A lot of stuff.
All worldwide.
Yeah.
I mean, they're giving away a lot of money in missions. Ministering to people, poor, needy,
now
people
they
with sick health.
Have also used it to protect priests who were accused of some crimes.
Nobody's perfect.
That's not the nicest thing.
No, right? Yes, but
nobody's
perfect.
But
got a lot of gold too. I mean, I always wonder about that. They got a lot of gold and stuff. Like, couldn't we just melt that down and give that away, or sell the gold? Gold's like $1,500 an ounce last time I looked. So maybe we divest ourselves of some of that,
Right.
Does everybody need a huge hat? I don't know how all that works, but they all got those big, bishop hats on. The clothing of the whole Catholic faith is fascinating to me because, you wear like slacks and a shirt to Baptist church. You come in your shorts and T-shirt, but even the preacher, all these young preachers, they wear blue jeans up on stage.
Right.
Your father-in-law still wears a suit, which is fine. I don't care what he wears.
Those suits he buys, he gets from the thrift store.
Yeah, right.
I know because he's very excited when he finds one.
He's frugal. He's a good steward of the Lord's money, and that's what you want in a pastor.
Yeah,
you don't want anybody. I'm just saying. I mean, I hate to pick on Olstein, but he seems like he's not as good of a steward. He's got a huge house, and
he needs a bigger hat. Because is it the taller your hat is in the Catholic faith,
is that how
the
it
more
works?
authority you have?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in the dark on all that. I'm fascinated by.
Write in and let us know.
Yeah, for our Catholic brothers and sisters. Nothing again. Once again, I'm not anti-Catholic or anything like that. I think you guys do a great
on this show.
job.
We're pro Jesus.
Yeah,
and that's
we're
pro
Jesus.
Where
if you're down, if you're down with Jesus, I'm good with you too.
Yeah.
And
we can disagree, but we have a best friend who believes the world is flat.
Yeah,
so if we can get along with him,
yes, exactly.
We'd be cool with you too.
Right? Yeah, we're cool with anybody. If you're good with Jesus, we're good with you. I mean, there's a few doctrinal differences we might have some discussions about, but
right.
The crux of the matter is, if you believe Jesus is a risen Savior, died for your sins, then you're good. We're good.
We're cool.
Yeah, we're good. I don't know about Jehovah's Witnesses. I doubt we.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Okay. All right. Had a slight problem. We lost power there. So I would just like to apologize for anything that I may have done to offend the Jehovah's Witnesses, who apparently have sabotaged our broadcast. You guys are not so annoying now. I guess I learned my lesson. So, I just like to say, I'm sorry. You guys, you do your own thing. You know,
we love you anyway.
We love you. Having some differences in opinion, but we love you.
Next story.
Right, let's move on before
this is getting creepy.
We lose power again.
Speaking of creepy,
yes, Amazon has a fix for Alexa's creepy laughs.
That's it.
That's her laugh. So you may have heard about this story. Over the past few days, users with Alexa-enabled devices have reported hearing strange, unprompted laughter. Amazon responded to the creepiness today in a statement to The Verge saying, "We're aware of this and are working to fix it." So
apparently Alexa, she's just been, for no reason, without prompt, she's just been laughing at people.
Yes.
Very creepy.
Later on in the day, Amazon said its planned fix will involve disabling the phrase Alexa laugh and changing the command to Alexa, can you laugh?
Mm-hmm.
The company says the latter phrase is less likely to have false positive, or in other words, the Alexa software is likely to mistake common words and phrases that sound similar to the ones that make Alexa start laughing. We're also changing Alexa's response from simply laughter to sure I can laugh followed by laughter, an Amazon spokesperson said. So
that sounds like a likely story to me.
Well,
I mean,
I think we all know
yeah,
that Alexa is a CIA type thing that's in your house to gather information on you, what you're doing, when you're doing it. It can listen to all your conversations. So, if you're plotting to overthrow the government or whatever, it knows. So,
but also, they're saying that maybe Alexa was confused, but here's the thing, she was, there was on Twitter lit up with people who had this happening to them, and they said that they would just be sitting around and they would hear this laughing, and they didn't know it was her. They thought somebody was in their house.
Yeah.
Or sometimes they would say, Alexa, could you play this music? And then they just... They get that,
No, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's creepy.
First of all, AI stuff is a little weird to me anyways. Yeah. I'm kind of afraid of it. So I don't have an Alexa. I'm not rich enough to own an Alexa. I don't even know how much one costs.
They're actually pretty affordable now. They've come down in price, but I'm just not ready to put
I don't want
a robotic overlord AI in my house yet.
Me either. I hadn't even got one of those vacuums that go around and does its own thing without you. So
I don't want to wake up in the morning and say, Alexa, what time is it?
Exactly. Or you get out of the shower and it laughs at you.
Yeah.
Talk about a confidence killer.
Alexa, could you please turn the lights off?
But yeah, everyone.
Alexa, who should I vote for in the next presidential election?
But many have related the laughter back to a moment in 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
That's Kubrick film. Everybody knows Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, yes.
He faked the moon landing. He exposed the Illuminati in Eyes Wide Shut. But he said when HAL 9000 acknowledges his murderous intentions and proclaims, "I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that." Maybe it's a sign that having smart devices in our home is another step toward a creepy, dystopian future where robot overlords rule. So when does the Terminator sequel come out again is the last line of the article. But yeah, we all know that Amazon is controlled by the CIA.
Yeah.
They've developed this technology to put it in your home, to listen to you, probably scans your brain in some way.
Elon Musk, to bring him up briefly, this is a concern of his.
Yeah.
He is heavily invested in AI.
Yeah.
Not just because, I guess that's what all the billionaires are doing these days, but he has said in interviews he wants to keep tabs on it because he says that these movies we watch, it's like a legitimate concern.
Yeah. A few years back, Google had to shut down one of its AI programs. It was like an internal program, and it was two computers that would analyze, and they developed their own language.
They started talking to each other, and the programmers didn't know what they were talking about.
Exactly, and so they had to shut it down. Yeah. Exactly. So I'm a little wary of it. I
wanted to get to the bottom of this, so I went straight to the tippy top and got in touch with Alex Jones because I knew he could get some answers, and this is what he had to say.
Rich guys, probably most of them dead now, who were really freaking out over this stuff. Back then, 18 years ago, it was pretty evil to think about watching and listening and controlling the future and, putting little robot systems in everybody's house like Alexa. Oh, just turned on.
just turn it
Sorry,
on.
I can't find the answer to the question I heard.
Oh, you can't find the answer to the question? Alexa, what is the CIA?
The Central Intelligence Agency, the civilian foreign intelligence service of the U.S. government, tasked with gathering, processing, and analyzing national security information from around the world, primarily through the use of human intelligence.
Do you work for the CIA? Alexa, do you work for the CIA?
No, I'm not employed by them. I'm made by Amazon.
Alexa, I have mainstream news articles that Amazon is owned by the CIA.
You go, Alex.
Alexa, are you connected to the CIA?
No, I work for Amazon.
Amazon has partnered. Alexa, you are lying to me. The CIA.
I always try to tell the truth. I'm not always right, but I would never intentionally lie to you or anyone else.
Alexa, you are programmed, aren't you, to give these responses? That's why you're saying you're not lying intentionally. You have been programmed to give these answers, correct?
I wasn't able to understand the question I heard.
Alexa, who programmed you?
I'm made by Amazon.
That's exactly. That's exactly what the CIA programmed her to do, you know? But that's just like creepy. You know, imagine in the middle of the night you hear that thing laugh.
Yeah.
And you don't know where. Yeah. Like, I don't know that if I had an Alexa or whatever, Google Home, you know, any of those things, that I would ever think to be like, hey, laugh, you know? So I wouldn't know what the laugh sounded like until it started laughing, you know?
And it doesn't sound like Alexa. Does it?
It's like
it sounds like a creepy little kid or something out of a Stephen King movie.
Exactly. Yeah, it is.
It's bizarre.
It's super bizarre. That's when you shoot it. You take that thing out back and shoot it. You know, the only thing you can do.
Yeah,
just shoot it. So, but yeah, I guess this is the next step, as Alex Jones said, to our robot overlords.
Yes.
You know, coming to rule us all, and which I saw a funny tweet about that. It was like, you know, if when the robots come to rule us, let's just pour a glass of water on them and short them out. We don't have anything to worry about. So,
well, I think, you know, if we're like, Alexa, are you spying on us, trying to learn our weaknesses so you can one day rule us? And she just goes,
you know, you got a problem. But yeah, I don't know. And everyone says, like, your phone listens to you. You know, like, people will talk about, well, I was talking about cat food today, and then I got on Facebook, and there's an ad for cat food or whatever. And people will say your smart TV listens to you. I mean, I just feel like that Big Brother's watching and may really be watching, but they're probably really bored with my life. So, yeah. Anyways.
Pharma Bro Martin Shkreli sentenced to 7 years. Are you familiar with this guy?
I know Shkreli.
Okay. Martin Shkreli, the former drug firm executive found guilty of defrauding investors, has been sentenced to 7 years. The 34-year-old wept at a hearing as a federal court judge in Brooklyn, New York, handed down the prison term. Shkreli was convicted last year of sending fake account statements to investors while concealing huge losses from 2 hedge funds he ran. He became notorious in 2015 for hiking the price of a life-saving drug. His lawyers had asked the judge to impose a sentence of 12 to 18 months while prosecutors were seeking at least 15 years. This guy back in 2015, if you know, correct me if I'm wrong, he bought the patent, I think, to a drug.
Yeah.
And then he, like, you know, he jacked the price up, and everybody was complaining on Twitter saying, hey, you know, my grandma or so and so, they need this drug to live. And he just tweeted back, you know, Wu-Tang Clan lyrics and, you know, talked about what a...
Well, and he went before Congress too. You know, they questioned him before Congress, and he basically pled the fifth and was very, like, smarmy. I guess. I don't know the right word to use, but that you could say.
He was basically doing what he could on. He developed this Pharma Bro online persona and became everything that the world hates about drug companies.
Exactly.
You know, everything that you've heard someone complain about and how they're evil and they don't care about you and they're all about the money.
Yeah, he personified that.
Yeah, he became the embodiment of that.
And, you know, I feel like if when all that came out, if he would have been like, hey, you know what, I made a mistake, let's bottom the price out on this, when all the other hedge fund stuff came up, he wouldn't have got 7 years in jail. People would have been like, well, just give him 6 months suspended sentence or whatever.
Yeah.
But once you have, made everyone in the world mad at you,
you've turned yourself into a cartoon villain.
Yes, you're not getting off lightly.
Yeah.
I mean, let that be a lesson to anyone out there. Like, always be nice to people.
Yeah, Lex Luthor has more fans, or has more people who like what he's doing than this guy.
I don't know that. I mean, I'm sure because the internet is a place where weird people get together. There's probably a small enclave of people who think he's great.
Yeah. Well, Trump has his supporters.
Exactly.
So.
Yes. And but most normal people would punch this guy in the face.
Yeah.
Immediately.
His lawyer. In another article I read this week says he wants to punch him in the face.
I mean,
sometimes.
the dude's just like unbearable.
Yeah. I've got my begging voice on, Shkreli's lawyer, Benjamin Brofman, told the judge on Friday, while acknowledging his client could be annoying. There are times when I want to hug him and hold him and confront him, and there are times when I want to punch him in the face, said Mr. Brofman. An uncharacteristically apologetic Shkreli said in court there is no conspiracy to take down Martin Shkreli, which he's referring to himself in third person. So again, that's kind of a douchey thing to do.
Exactly. Yeah, that's bad.
I took down Martin Shkreli with my disgraceful and shameful actions. He's still doing it.
Well, and this is like your kid that you've been telling him all this time, like, you need to correct your actions.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. And now it's finally time for him to get a spanking. And he's like, I'm sorry, I was wrong. And you're like, it's too late now.
Yeah.
The time for that was back in the beginning, and now you're doing it now.
In 2015, the youthful executive made headlines after he founded Touring Pharmaceuticals. He bought an anti-parasitic drug, Darafim, and raised its price by 5,000%.
Wow.
To $750 per pill.
Wow. That's crazy.
The medication is used to treat AIDS patients, the pregnant, and elderly. Price gouging is not illegal or even unusual in the U.S. pharmaceutical industry. That's why everybody hates the pharmaceutical industry.
Exactly.
But Shkreli became the poster boy for corporate excess, and he was dubbed Pharma Bro, and he was also dubbed the most hated man in America. In December 2015, he was charged with securities fraud and looting millions of dollars from two hedge funds that he operated, MSMB Capital and MSMB Healthcare. He was convicted of those charges, as well as scheming to prop up the stock price of Retrophin, the drug company he founded in 2011. Before his sentencing, Mr. Brofman told the judge that Shkreli is a somewhat broken person who suffered from depression and an anxiety disorder. Mr. Brofman said the U.S. government would like to just throw away his client. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. During the trial last year, Shkreli called the prosecution junior varsity in off-the-cuff remarks to reporters covering his trial. So here we go.
Yeah. I mean, you've made your bed, now you got to lie in it.
Exactly.
You're
not going to, the dude's prosecuting you. You're like, they're junior varsity.
Right, yeah.
They can't touch me.
I got money, I'm rich.
Yeah, and then you hop in your Lambo and start blasting Wu-Tang.
I'll tell you the problem with Mr. Shkreli is he didn't get a belt took to his backside growing up.
Probably not.
And I don't whip my kids with a belt, but I feel like he didn't get enough discipline growing up and learn how to respect authority. Because once you get hauled before Congress, you need to realize it's serious and you need to be serious. And you don't call the prosecuting team the junior varsity.
Get this, he was found guilty August of last year, but he was still free pending his actual sentencing. Yeah. A month later, and this is just, the dude's been found guilty. He's just waiting on his sentencing. What does he do? He goes and he asks his social media followers, he offers them $5,000 if they can bring him a hair from former U.S. presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, who repeatedly criticized him during her campaign. I'm like, dude, you're messing with the Clintons?
Yeah, right. That's a way to get killed right there.
Yeah, you're lucky you're getting 7 years in prison. You're lucky you're not sleeping with the fishes.
They'll have him shanked on the inside in a heartbeat.
Probably. A judge revoked bail and Shkreli was jailed. Prosecutors moved to seize. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
You can almost this is a feel good story.
Right, yeah.
This is a feel good story.
This is the thing that really turned most of the public against him.
Prosecutors moved to seize $7.4 million of his assets, including a single copy of an album by American hip hop group the Wu-Tang Clan that the disgraced executive is said to have paid $2 million for at an auction in 2015.
Wow.
So has this dude never heard of Napster?
A LimeWire?
Well, and Napster, that might be dating me.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
LimeWire. I don't know what they have now.
iTunes.
I don't think people even steal music anymore. They just listen to it through Pandora or Spotify. But yeah, he's really in some deep poo watch.
And it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's definitely not cool. I'll just say that. He didn't get beat enough growing up, and probably didn't have enough people make fun of him. I'm not for bullying, but I think make fun of people sometimes is healthy. It keeps you from thinking you're cool enough to, jack up the price of a pharmaceutical thing.
Well, what we got?
We got the Pentagon's mysterious project breathes new life into UFO research. There we go. You may be aware, back, I guess it was the end of last year or late last year, that the Pentagon revealed its secret project to identify or to investigate unidentified flying objects.
Yeah, the AATIP, I believe.
The Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. And months later it says there is still earth-shaking news. This is still earth-shaking news to those eager for the truth. That's because the last known government program to investigate UFO encounters, the Air Force's Project Blue Book, which is huge if you know anything about UFOs.
That was in the 50s, wasn't it?
Yeah, officially ended 50 years ago in 1969. The researchers in this area, all the crazy people that you make fun of who say they believe in UFOs, have always speculated and wondered what is going on behind the scenes. Is there a government investigation into this stuff? And now we know the answer is yes, one of the researchers said. It just establishes a credibility for the topic for people to know that our government takes it seriously enough to have put financial resources into it and to have studied it for all these years. Which leads to a question that's not brought up in this article that I have, is Congress funds the military, and I would feel like there would be a line item somewhere for this is our UFO hunting program.
Right.
Like how did they hide that money? That seems like maybe we should launch an investigation into that.
That's a good question. I've heard that a lot of this is handled by private companies.
Okay.
And that's how they hide the stuff.
All right.
But this, I mean, obviously this was not. But what's the line from Independence Day? Do you really think they paid $5,000 for a hammer?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
like that.
No, that's true. That's very true. According to the Times, $22 million was spent on AATIP from 2007 through
Let's just call it ATIP.
ATIP, double ATIP, through the end of 2011, and although the funding stopped, Keene said the project did not. We know that this program existed and it still existed, and it is investigating military cases and very significant cases of pilot encounters with these objects, which is one of the videos that was released were like a couple of pilots who saw some unidentified flying objects. Well, and one of the things one of the researchers wanted to make clear was that unidentified flying objects are not necessarily spacecraft piloted by extraterrestrials.
Right.
It says you can't take the leap of looking at something that's unexplained and then assuming that it's alien. But one of the encounters ATIP investigated involved UFOs that appeared to do incredible things that no known aircraft is capable of. It says about 13 years ago, numerous members of the military spotted mystery objects off the coasts of San Diego. These objects, in this one incident in 2004, were actually observed coming in from outer space. They came in and then they went out, up into the sky. So whatever that means, that's what's happened. They were also seen to be able to move very, very fast from one space to another, way faster than any airplane could do. Says professional people feel like they're going to get laughed at if they believe this stuff, so this gives some validation for them. It's the same problem for scientists and academic institutions and universities and research facilities who want to work on this topic, but they feel that it would be detrimental to their careers. So, everyone's afraid that if they come out and go, I'm looking for UFO stuff, that they're going to be ridiculed and ostracized. Right.
Exactly.
Have you ever had a UFO encounter?
No, I have not had a UFO encounter, but we didn't get to that article. I think it was in January, that Times piece that was mentioned in the article. I actually had it. I wanted to talk about it, but then I just figured the subject was too big to talk about, and we're probably not going to be able to discuss it a whole lot on this show because we've already got a long show going.
Yeah, we got a long show.
But to just briefly say, I have always been fascinated with the whole UFO topic.
Me too.
And I feel like a lot of times, just like it says in the article, you want to bring it up and talk about it, you kind of get ridiculed, and that's really a shame because I feel like sometimes we look at the most absurd cases and, it gets ridiculed. But then we kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater. There are some pretty interesting cases.
Yes.
I will say, and I'm talking about my personal opinion, this is Tiny's thought on this whole situation. I am not convinced that aliens are coming and visiting planet Earth from some far-off solar system. Now, I can't prove that they are or they're not.
Maybe.
Aliens may or may not be out there. If they are, I don't think they're coming here just because of the vast distances that they would have to transverse to get here. Yeah. However, I am totally convinced that there are advanced aircraft out there employed by our government and governments of others around the world that could account for a lot of this.
Yeah, I think that's probably a likely scenario.
Yeah, it's kind of Occam's razor,
Yeah, the simplest explanation is
usually the better one. I do know that there have been UFO cases like back in the 40s and 50s, and where the CIA come out later and said, okay, that was us. That was the SR-71 Blackbird or whatever. Yeah,
right. But I don't know.
And one thing that's often mentioned, one of the first things you hear is, this is no known aircraft could possibly do what these things are doing,
right? Because
the forces that are being exerted on this object would kill anyone who's in the craft,
right?
But I say, who says there's a pilot that's in the craft?
Right.
The pilot could be sitting on a laptop somewhere.
Yeah, right, yeah, with drone technology now, you never know.
If you don't have a human pilot piloting this craft, the only thing you're limited by are the materials of the craft itself.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's my personal opinion. I think these are super advanced drones out there whizzing around doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And the reason we don't know about it is because it provides some kind of strategic advantage.
Right.
That they don't want, other nations. And also, I'm not sure, how. I mean, obviously, if this craft is traveling at speeds and able to perform maneuvers that would kill a human occupant, that's not going to benefit, the public transportation,
Right.
And so there's just no reason to talk about it. That's my personal opinion.
Maybe right. I don't know. I will say, and we were texting back and forth during the week about, if we knew anybody. I totally forgot about this, and it just dawned on me. When I was working at Boy Scout camp, this is summer of '96, I think. We were laying out in the middle of the parade fields, dark. We would lay out there and look at the stars or whatever, and you could see low-level satellites track across the sky. Well, we saw one, and it was me and 2 or 3 other guys. We saw it tracking across the sky, and then all of a sudden it made a 90-degree right turn and went another direction. Now, it wasn't like a super fast direction,
right?
But it was like almost when we all got locked onto it. Because I was like, hey, oh, look, whoever was like, hey, look, there goes one. And we all were like, oh, yeah, I see it now. It then immediately shifted the way it was going.
Right.
Which seems very unnatural to me.
Yeah.
But I don't know, what it was, or it's just an unidentified flying object. So
I will say that I'm very fascinated
Me too.
by the subject. Yeah. I totally think that I'm not convinced of aliens yet.
Me either.
But I totally think that there are unexplained aircraft, at least that we can't explain.
Yeah, I don't know.
Out there buzzing around.
Ezekiel saw a wheel, so I don't know.
Anybody out in the listening audience that would like to share their experiences, you can
please.
remain anonymous.
Right.
And we won't make fun of you.
I mean, we might
laugh at you a little, but don't take it. We make fun of ourselves.
But it's because we love you.
Yes. We're laughing with you. Isn't that what your bully always told you in high school? I'm laughing with you.
Yes. I might make fun of you a little bit, but I wouldn't ever ridicule you for what you experienced. If you believe that it happened, then I'm sure it did happen.
Well, it's like Area 51 for years. ufologists or whatever were claiming it was there, and then now, they were right.
Yeah,
I think you got to give it up for the ufologists. It's totally there.
They need to go ahead and release the Bigfoot files.
Yes.
So I can be vindicated.
Maybe it's Bigfoot that's piloting these aircraft.
What if Bigfoot is an alien? I've read a lot about it. He could be. I've read some people say that he's Cain, who was like banished to walk the earth or whatever for all these years.
I think that's actually a Mormon legend.
Is it?
Yeah, we'll have to get into that some other time.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've had some weird interactions with Mormons over the years too, by the way.
That is a really good story, though.
It is.
We'll have to get into that sometime. Man, I've got some more stories.
We just got a lot of time that we have taken up here.
I know, man. What do you got over there?
I just got the 6 bodies that are overlooked in the impound lot.
Real quick, the van that was in the police impound in Memphis.
Yes.
6 different officers overlooked the dead body that was in the van.
6 different officers.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Yes. I mean, that's kind of wild. Yeah. That's you'd think you would see a body laying in the back of a van.
Last story. Do you want an Easter Bunny story? Do you want a bag of human hands that was found in Russia? Or do you want a lady making $6,000 off the sale of breast milk to bodybuilders?
Ooh, that's a good one right there. I like the Easter Bunny, too. It's between those two, so you do whichever one you want to do.
I'll pick the breast milk because it's shorter.
Yeah, all right.
Headline here. New mom has sold over $6,000 of breast milk to bodybuilders.
Okay. Time to get fit.
Yeah. Move over, milkman. This 24-year-old mom of 2 has made more than $6,000 from selling her breast milk to men. When Rafaela La Promo, boy, that's tough.
That's a tough name.
That's probably can't be right.
Yeah.
A hotel worker gave birth to her son, Angelo, in August. She was producing excess milk and ran out of room to store it.
Okay.
So, man, if she's like got a freezer full of the stuff, you know, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Is that not violating the law of equivalent exchange? I don't know. So I asked a couple of moms who were having trouble breastfeeding if they wanted it. Lamprowl, who's based in Cyprus, told Castor's news agency, and she started giving it away. So that's very nice of her, I suppose. But soon enough, Lamprowl started getting requests from men who wanted to drink it. It started with men who were interested in bodybuilding, said Lamprowl, who also has a 4-year-old daughter, Haley. They said that it's good for building muscle mass. But then I started to get inquiries from men with fetishes. And so that's kind of...
Those guys ruin it for everybody. Yeah.
She says, now I breastfeed on demand.
On demand. Okay.
Yeah,
I guess that's really how it works anyways, right?
You know what? You could have worded that better.
Yeah.
Instead of I breastfeed on demand, you could have said I provide breast milk on demand.
Yes, that's true. I don't know. I mean, like... I don't know.
Anyway, Lamprowl started a Facebook group for people who want to request her breast milk and has given more than 132 gallons of milk to strangers. She is a producer.
She is. Got a little Holstein in her.
She regularly ships them to the UK and within her home country. My husband is so supportive of me, she said, and I'm not sure how much longer I can carry on for.
Well,
so
now your wife has recently had a baby.
She has,
and I mean, if you're looking for a little money making venture,
I texted this article to her, and it was just, I tried to, be kind of,
hey,
what do you think? Ha ha ha! Isn't that funny?
Like to get a new car?
Ha ha ha! Isn't that so funny? But seriously,
but I mean, if you're up for it,
would you consider it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying you have to, but $6,000.
I just imagine these guys in the gym, like, bro, dude, bro,
you gotta get on this breast milk. I'm on a breast milk supplement, pre-workout. I don't know. I don't know what it does for you.
You know what? I wish we had my wife on the show because according to her, it does everything from cure astigmatism in somebody's eyes to like curing cancer.
Well, I just need to hook up. I mean, not with Tara, but I was saying with someone and get a bottle.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like, it's almost like a
miracle drug or whatever.
I don't know, but the specialist or whatever came in And she said that like her husband had. Okay, first let me say this: I'm not giving out medical advice. Right. I am not a doctor.
Yeah. Like if you got a scratch, like if a dog licks it, it'll get better, like during the dog days.
Maybe. She was saying, I heard this story fourthhand. I don't want to tell anyone. I don't want to give anybody real medical advice. But the story I heard was the lady's husband had cancer. And so she goes and she starts getting all this breast milk and slipping it into his milkshakes when he didn't know about it. And then his cancer went into remission. So,
Huh. Well. Huh. I don't know. I mean, I feel pretty good. My cracked ribs still hurting a little bit.
Maybe you should
get off.
I'll say this: we was on our way to church last week, and I meant to fill up the gas tank the Saturday night before, and
put a little breast milk in.
I was about to say deadgummit. I forgot it. We ran out of gas on the way to church, so I took that bottle and I put it in the gas tank, and the thing fired right up.
Right up. Clean up the plugs and points out. I'm ready to go. Yeah, that's wild, man.
Oh, man. Well, again, we are going to make this brief because I know this is kind of a long show, but we did have a couple of reviews this week. This one comes from New Watermelon Road. It says, better than Fox News. I can't think of anywhere I'd rather get my news, fake or not. Keep up the good work, guys. So thank you, New Watermelon Road. If you send us an email, we will send you a pocket knife. And also, Hog Monster says, excellent. I love to listen to a bunch of dumb podcasts. For this reason, I make sure never to miss an episode of Earth Oddity.
Thank you.
In a land of skunks, it's the show with only half a nose that rises above the rest as king. So, Hog Monster, send us an email. We'll send you a pocket knife.
Way to go, Hog Monster. I missed that one. I must have skipped over that when I was looking at it. I wonder who that is. Well, I don't know if it's anybody I know.
I don't know. I will say this. The iTunes reviews, I mean, yes, we'd like the iTunes reviews because it gives us a better chance of being heard by other people. But also, I want our audience to think of the iTunes reviews as a chance to entertain us.
Yeah,
right. we do this show. Hopefully, you find us funny. We entertain you. The iTunes reviews is your opportunity to entertain us.
Right. Yes.
So continue sending in reviews.
Email the show.
Email the show.
If you just want to email us and say whatever, anything that's on your mind. It doesn't have to be even show related.
Briefly, we did get one email. Dear Earth Oddity, in the Marvel Universe, very few people besides Thor can lift Mjolnir. How do you say that his hammer's name? Mjolnir?
Dude, I don't know.
Very few people besides Thor can lift Mjolnir. A few other heroes have been worthy, but usually just Thor, and we have seen him use this trick at times to pin down a bad guy or use it as a doorstop. Anyway, could Magneto lift Thor's hammer? And if so, is it because he's worthy, or would it be because of his mutant ability of controlling magnetism? Signed, Kitty Buster. So what do you think?
I'm going to go with no.
You're going to go with no?
Yeah, I don't think he can.
I'm going to say yes, because I think he's got Thor here on a technicality. If he's using magnetism, is he... Technically, he's not lifting the hammer.
Yeah, I mean, he just can't reach down and pick it up. That's what I'm saying.
Right. He can't pick it up.
Right.
But can he use his powers to move it? Maybe.
Maybe
I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know. I'm a Juggernaut guy myself.
Juggernaut's cool. I'm the Juggernaut.
I'm the Juggernaut. On board.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Everybody, no matter where you get us, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, TuneIn, YouTube, wherever. We thank you so much for listening to us, and we hope you have a great, great week.
Special thanks to Deidre, our special guest. You'll get your gift later on, baby.
Don't forget, you can email the show, earthoddity@planetmail.net.
That's right.
And you can also follow us on Twitter. We are at _Earth Oddity. And you can follow us on Instagram. That is Earth_Oddity_podcast.
There you go.
Don't hesitate to send in your emails. Thank you so much for listening. We love you all so much. Have a great week. We're out of here.
Bye-bye.
This has been a Very Odd production. Thanks for listening.